Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we find out what Lenny Eckstein has been up to as we discuss the Summer of Lenny. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host Steve Akeley, as well as our special guests, Lenny Eckstein, Steinkamp, and Darren MacLeod.
Hey gang, what's up?
Howdy, y'all.
So we're going to be talking about the Summer of Lenny. Man, it's just one vacation after another, seemingly no work, but when he's there, he's winning awards. So we'll get to all that after the break. For right now, though, Darren said there's something he wanted to talk about. What is that, sir?
So, have you guys ever had any pretty good, better than bad? Is all I'm asking for. Luck with like ice cream based cocktails or boozy ice cream or any of that. Taking out ice cream and adding alcohol to it or making it alcoholic. Have you had any that are good?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Down in New Orleans at the New Orleans Bourbon Festival, the booth right next to us actually did an ice cream washed. It was Benchmark actually.
Really?
And they did an
ice cream can make Benchmark taste good? Man.
It was really, really good.
I'm loving it.
And the guy was like, that's Benchmark. Like, he was so excited about the fact that they used Benchmark. And they won favorite booth of the entire festival.
Really?
And it was awesome. They did it as a whole, there was an extra little shot thing that you could put into your ice cream. Like they made the ice cream boozy as it was, but they also did a ice cream wash on Benchmark, and you could add it as a shot into the ice cream as well. And it was delicious. That stuff was fucking awesome. That booth was packed.
Okay.
They sold out, I think, by the end of the festival. It was packed, but that
sounds awesome. But I got a question. Maybe there's an obvious answer, but I understand how you do, the go-to is like a bacon fat wash and you mix it in there and then cool it off, and the fat solidifies back into something you could skim out. But how did ice cream wouldn't do that? Would it?
You add it all together into one, and you let it sit for, I don't know how long you let it sit for, but then you just end up, you're just supposed to keep on straining it through finer and finer.
Does that stay in there though?
Huh?
I mean, I'm not doubting the awesomeness of the flavor, but isn't it more of an ice cream cocktail? Because the ice cream won't come out. It
was clear.
Okay.
Yeah, it was completely clear. And you just keep straining it.
So like a milk punch is what happens.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen a milk wash on rum, and it's kind of the same.
Okay.
It ends clear, but it was
same concept.
It was just melted, I think, vanilla ice cream that they used.
Okay.
And
that sounds awesome.
Let it sit there, I think, for a week or whatever it was, and then they just continuously strained it out until it ran clear.
Remember, Darren, at one time, I don't know, I don't know if you were at the company then, but when Jackie did like a milk punch, and she talked about it, it took her like a week to make that stuff. Man, that was fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. Good. Ice cream drinks for me. I used to have a boss. We used to go to, whenever someone would come in from out of town, a place called Citizen Kane's, a steakhouse in St. Louis. And I guess they're known for their Brandy Alexander. He would always order a round of those for the out of town guests. And then, of course, the staff that was there. I was a sales guy, so I just had to go with whatever was happening as the sales guy. But I was good. I used to like those. That was really my only ice cream cocktail I've ever had. And I always thought they were good, man. Come in a cool little goblet type of glass. Small little goblet. That was good stuff, man.
In St. Louis, the place is got to be the Fountain on Locust for ice cream based drinks and booze.
Okay.
That is what they do. That is their big draw. They have other food and stuff, but it is
Never been there. Never. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about it. Yeah, I think
I'll
you'd
have to
like
try
it,
it.
Colonel.
I'll have to
It's
try
the way it's
Ice cream and booze. What can go
Yeah,
wrong?
the way it's
I just went to
designed
Cyrano's, which they're known for desserts. That was the first time I've
Yeah.
been to Cyrano's the other day. That was fantastic, man.
yeah. Take the warden to the
Oh.
Fountain on Locust.
All right.
You'll both have a good time there. I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It is interesting because you just think of it like getting curdly.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
No.
that's what kind of makes you like, yeah.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
it
Oh,
curdle
yeah.
up?
Oh, really?
You can't. Yeah. Well, you
okay.
come on into the shop. We'll give you some cream and a high proof thing. You know, that thing will curdle. Man.
Oh.
It'll-
Bourbon
100%.
Yeah, you get a cement mixer real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do they do that then? I
I've
don't.
never had that. But I've had this isn't what you asked, Aaron, but there's a donut shop in Denver that used to do like a little whiskey they're like pipettes but short, and they would inject bourbon into the donut.
Ooh.
And I don't know
Is this a vegan donut you're talking? That's why you don't eat ice cream, right? Because it's non-vegan. Yeah.
That's not why.
Lactose intolerance,
Bourbon in it
Steve.
was fucking awesome. I think I would definitely drink bourbon with ice cream. There's a place also though I haven't been to called Sweet Cow in Denver that I think they do like a Stranahan's or a Law's, bourbon ice cream. Not like a boozy drink, but ice cream that's got flavor of whiskey in it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah, at the Lake of the Ozarks, there's a place called Lake Burger that does like a
Burgers?
Yes, and
No.
then they're famous for their shakes too.
Sure.
And they have like a salted caramel bourbon shake that is incredible.
Okay. Well, that sounds
You can
good.
also buy investment whiskey there. Shout out.
Oh, yeah. Shout out.
Yeah, it's good. It's incredible.
Okay. Darren?
So the only boozy ice cream I've ever had, I've never been to a restaurant where they've made it like they've actually put some love and care into it. When I was working at Shook's, we got these cartons of ice cream that had alcohol in them, and they were pretty good. But like one of the guys I was working with, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take that home and get drunk tonight." I'm like, "No, I don't think that's how that works." I don't think
How much would you have to eat to get drunk?
Exactly.
You would
like
have an
5%.
upset stomach
Yeah.
before you would get drunk.
Yeah.
Diabetes.
Yeah, it's just I have diabetes.
You'd be crying, "No more ice cream."
Right.
But I have not messed around with any of that. Why I brought this up is because we have a class coming up where we're doing. It's a little bit different of a process of fat washing or ice cream washing, but we're gonna do it with a bunch of different creams, like the bourbon creams and stuff like that. So,
Oh, neat.
and I've been doing some research about how to make it taste better, and I was just wondering if you guys had any good advice. But I have some good things to go off now.
Okay. He's got a lot of leads there. There you go. On that note, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Lenny.
Well, due to the subject matter of the show, I'm drinking a bottle of Deer Hammer Rye. This is our newly bottled, bumped up to 100 proof.
Okay. It's
Swing and a
beautiful.
miss.
It's beautiful.
Inside.
Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond. Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond. Here we go. That's the lead right there. As bad as that was, that's our lead right now. Becca's next.
Technology. Glitch.
I have got some Deer Hammer here, since it is the Lenny Eckstein show.
Sure.
And this is a single barrel select of the single malt whiskey, and it is bottled exclusively for No One Cares You're From Colorado.
Oh.
I remember that.
It claims bottle number 1, but I would write that on there too if I was giving someone a bottle.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than bottle 8.
Exactly.
Okay. Poor form there. A lot of movement and noise, but it was a good cork pop. So Becca's got the lead. I'd say the door's open though to beat her with a lot of the rattling that was happening there. All right, Darren, you're next.
Going with the theme. Oh no, wait, this is the theme of the show. But I have some Neely Sweet Thump Rye Neely Nog here.
Ooh.
Oh,
It
it felt like it was explosive, but Becca talked over it. So
I did.
You would have had the lead.
I wanted to make sure Lenny's bottles win.
Right. So Lenny / Becca, who had
I didn't want to make it about me.
So has the lead right now. Steinkamp, you're last but not least again.
Wild Turkey 101.
Okay. No. Becca wins.
Not even close.
As does Lenny in this example. So
Cheers.
Cheers.
I love that Neely Nog, Darren.
Me too.
That's a good one. All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about the summer of Lenny. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show. Practice session. Here we go.
What?
Just say it. It's recording. You don't have to press anything. Don't press anything.
Can I get the words?
Go ahead.
Can I get the words?
No.
Welcome to the Earth Daily. Today we are talking about what we are going to talk about on the Bourbon Daily.
Nailed it.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. It is the summer of Lenny.
Yes, it is. Lenny, tell us about the summer of Lenny. Seems like it's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, send people your way. You're like, well, I'm not there that week. What about
Yeah,
the week
come
after that?
see
No,
me.
I'm not
I
gonna
won't
there.
be there, but come on
right,
down.
You know,
Yeah, come out of the
I'm here
distillery. I'm never there.
sometimes, maybe 30% of the time.
30%. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's been pretty solid. I mean, you know, I've mentioned before, and you guys know, but Buena Vista gets really busy for like 3 months a year, and then it gets really boring again. And it's an awesome place to be, but the tourism just dropped off. So this is the first year that our tasting room has been on absolute autopilot, to the extent that somebody's doing the work, but it's not me or Amy, which is really awesome. And I feel like that's how it should have been. Like that, we made that decision actually last spring, last fall, that this has to, you know, it's time for someone else to do that work because we have a distillery to run, and that doesn't mean making cocktails necessarily or giving tours. And while I do love giving tours,
frying wings and all the stuff you've done everything there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That idea.
So
you
that's
shouldn't have to do
going
everything.
awesome. And, you know, we started ramping up distribution over the last year or so. So a lot of travel, you know, in my perfect world in the winter, I'd be traveling to places like, for distribution anyway, you know, Key West, New Orleans, San Diego. But it doesn't really work that way, unfortunately. So the more sensible markets, the Midwest, I've been traveling to Nebraska, Kansas City, got a St. Louis trip coming up. So, you know, I've actually come to really enjoy those places. And, like when I was out in Nebraska, Omaha and Lincoln, a month or so ago, it's fucking great, man. Those are both really cool cities. So
Omaha's a great city.
It's fantastic.
You got to check out the public restrooms at the gas station.
I was gonna say the public
Becca will tell you.
restrooms
Yeah.
have bidets.
Oh, I did not see that. I was impressed with the public restrooms at the grocery stores in Kansas City as well. No bidets, but very clean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, it's been really fun to check out those markets. And I will say something I've realized, and this is like just a pseudo theory I have, but there are a ton of bourbon fans in Colorado, but it's a different breed. It's more like, well, for one, they typically are extremely excited by what's not from Colorado.
Correct.
Because they already have what's like it's familiar to them. They want what's not here. But
that's a Colorado thing, though. That is a Colorado thing because in Missouri,
we love our Missouri distilleries.
The ones that are good, we're very excited about it. But
I'm not trying to condemn everyone in Colorado. There's definitely big Colorado whiskey fans in Colorado.
Sure.
But the other thing that I find happens in this state is that it attracts people who, you know, relocate here, whether they did 10 years ago or a year ago, who just love fun. So we have all the whiskey festivals, like there's one every week in the summer. And people are there for the fun. But when you want to talk about whiskey, like, cool, man, cool, thanks. And they, you know, take a sip. Yeah. Whereas whether it's in Kansas City or Nebraska, Omaha, or St. Louis, the people give a shit and they're very polite and they love it and they're there for it. And I've really been enjoying that. Like that's like the most important thing to them is that stuff. So when I'm not
the actual whiskey
here, the whiskey itself, not just a good time, which, you know, I respect people who want to have fun. That's what I do. But, yeah. And then I guess like when not doing that or, coming to my own tasting room for fish and chips and a pour, been getting out on the river a lot. It was one of the biggest, highest water years we've had in a really long time. So that was pretty awesome. And my kid's getting old enough that even though I'm quite sure he would drown if he fell in, it's still fun taking him down the river. So been doing that a bunch. I mean, this is boring shit, but I did bump up the proof on our bourbon and rye as an additional release. So now we have 100 proof bourbon and rye that's all at least 4 years old. And that's something I've been trying to do for a long time. So minimum 4 years. We're blending in some 5, 6, and 7 year into those, but the base is a 4 year.
Is everything minimum of 100 proof now, or do you do some?
The bourbon and rye are minimum 100 proof. The American single malt is 92, but the port cask finish is 100. Okay. So there's like a single malt expression that's 100 as well.
Okay.
And we'll figure out the smoked corn whiskey. We don't have a lot of that, so that one's a hard one to bump up. What else? A lot of motorcycle riding, which has been pretty awesome.
What do you ride, Lenny?
Riding in Yellowstone, and I'm about to
moped
fly out to New England to ride from New Hampshire all the way up into Canada through New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, and then back down. So more not working.
Sure.
What kind of motorcycle do you ride?
I have an F800, but for this trip in New England, I wasn't able to get my bike out there, so I'm renting a Tiger 900 for that. Should be pretty good. And then I'm planning another moto trip from here, BV, Buena Vista, down to the tip of Baja in December.
Oh, wow.
In a perfect world, I would ride down to the tip of Baja, back up, and then over to Key West. But there's no world that my wife will let me do that. So I'll take a ride through Mexico and back and call it good. If I,
How
And that's
far
what
are
you've
you?
done before, right? The Mexico trip, you've done that before, right?
Mexico? Yeah, I've gone
Yeah,
to Mexico, but just
to
like
Baja.
to the northern part of
Okay.
Baja, like Ensenada. I've
Okay.
never gone farther south, so
Okay, that'll be fun.
and have not done it on a motorcycle.
All right.
How far are you from Yellowstone?
Kind of far, like
Okay.
10 hours maybe.
Yeah. Nothing's close
I mean,
to
it's not
Yellowstone.
close. But yeah, it was actually awesome. I trailered up my bike so I could have my camper there, and then Amy and Arlo flew up for he had a baseball game, which is worthless to me, but he seemed to think it was important. Anyway, they got there. I had Amy drive my kid to the entrance of Yellowstone where I was with my bike, threw him on the back of the bike, and rode him around the park. And what was awesome about that for me was that
Everything.
I mean, it's fun showing anyone, something as amazing as Yellowstone that way. But the best part of it is you don't have to wait behind cars. Like if there's a line of cars that might be waiting for like 45 minutes to see one of the more popular features, you just go around them and they don't say shit. And you park and you get cut in front of everyone. So
Yeah.
Sure.
we did
sure.
that and saw everything. And it was awesome. We
You
saw
own the
a
world.
bear,
A bear. Okay.
grizzly bear, a lot of bison, some elk,
love
which is
Yellowstone.
boring. We see those all the time. We got there before that weird eruption that happened a
Right.
couple weeks ago, so I was
Yeah.
glad
Yeah.
we missed that. Yeah, it was awesome.
Well,
So more not working. I'm enjoying
Alright.
the summer so far.
the other thing you haven't addressed yet is all the awards. You're winning a lot of awards
Oh,
these
yeah.
days. Tell us about that. Yeah.
I feel like that's old news, but yeah. So I've been outspoken about I've been a hater on awards. I don't like them.
Sure. Sure.
Because I am fundamentally against
Right.
concept.
They're all bad. There's no
Nope,
good
they're not all
awards.
bad.
They're all
The,
sucks.
Key
They're
West
not done the right
Invitational's
way.
fantastic.
They're
There's
not
distilleries
done
that
the right
enter them
way.
up wrong.
No one knows
No,
how
I
to
think
do
most
it.
of them
They're
are
stacked against
misconceived
that.
in the way
And then he
they're
wins them, and then they're great.
Yeah.
No, I still don't think they're great, but I'm happy that my distributors are happy.
Uh-huh.
I just decided, fine, if I'm going to play the game, I'm going to win the fucking game. And I was happy that in the Ascot Awards for American Single Malt, Deer Hammer American Single Malt went to the best in class against Cedar Ridge. And while we lost to Cedar Ridge, I mean, I'm happy to lose to Cedar Ridge. They make
Yeah.
a fucking awesome
Right.
American Single Malt. So yeah, I mean, I still think there's work to be done that no one cares to do on the bigger spirit competitions that other aspects of beverage alcohol I've figured out a lot more. But fuck it. It is what it is.
Okay. Last question before we wrap this up. Another thing that you're involved in, we talked a little bit about your aggressive vacation scheduling and your awards that have always been rigged until now. Now they're fixed.
They're awesome.
So the last thing I want to ask you about is American single malts. I know that you're part of that. You've been involved in making single malts, and you're friends with all the people that are on the board and all that. And I know they fired off a letter saying to the TTB, saying we got to get this done. This is 2 years now that we've heard about. We're going to do this, and we put the wording out to the public and all that. We got to now formalize this. And any insight on what's going on with official classification of American single malt?
Well, you summarized it pretty well as far as what's happening, and to some extent, you kind of summarized the frustration I think that a lot of us have. It's what was stated from the head of the commission, who's been doing phenomenal work, is at this point, it almost feels like the government's fucking with us. It's
Right.
crazy how long they're
Right.
taking. They
Not
know
the
about it.
government.
They
know
never
that.
have done that.
No.
They've done they've moved forward with other efforts, and at this point it is somewhat damaging, because when you talk about American single malt to whether it's a distributor or a buyer at a big liquor store, they're like, yeah, I've been hearing about that. It sounds like nothing's happening. And you're like, yeah,
Okay.
thanks, government. Fuck us.
Does it? Okay, I think I've got it figured out, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, or you can say you don't even want to say. But is the crux of the problem the fact that big bourbon, big American whiskey wants something different than the small guys, and in reality, what the small guys want is right, but it's hard to go against big American whiskey, and that's kind of what's got it stalled. Big American Whiskey says that we want new barrels. Small guys say we'd like to have the option of either or. Some of the small guys, like you, I know Lenny, use a lot of new barrels in your single malts, and there's others that do too. But overall, the idea of, hey, we can use our barrels to make a secondary whiskey that is valuable and not just like corn whiskey or something. That is what's hanging this thing up is the fact that big bourbon, big whiskey is like, no, it has to be new, and then there's this other thing. So the government's kind of like, the masses want this. That's probably the right call, but the big guys want this. So we don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's not the narrative that we're hearing, like on the American single malt side of producers. There's no rumblings that that's the rift that's causing problems.
So have I just figured it out?
Oh, okay. That's
am I the genius of the thing that just figured it out? Okay.
I mean, it's plausible that that's happening. If it's happening, I would say it's probably behind the scenes on some level. It's not known that's happening, and I'd be kind of surprised because while a big distillery might have the intention of going into charred new oak just the way they would for bourbon or rye, and some small producers like myself do that almost exclusively.
Right.
The latitude and ability to say we don't have to, we can do all these other things. Or the thing that I really appreciate about the definition or framework put forward is, as you guys know, with a bourbon, you can't go into a rum barrel and a wine barrel and just mix those into the batch and call it all good. There's almost no way to put that out. Whereas with American single malt, you could pull from any finishing barrel. And I fucking love that flexibility because I got to say, like batch to batch, I do that sometimes. Whether it's, an X wine barrel, an X rum barrel. I mean, those are a lot that we use. Export barrel. I like to be able to punch up the final product in the exact direction with a finishing barrel and not have to proclaim what finishing barrel was if it varies from one 800 bottle batch to another and have to get new labels printed. So long way of saying, I'd be really surprised if there was a big producer who was like, nope, let's make it this regimented. Because why? It's I'm all for bourbon being as regimented as it is, but man, I don't think anybody would disagree that it's so heavily regulated and the confines are so strict. It's nice to have some freedom in other areas.
Doesn't big bourbon do that a lot? They'll fuckery, yes. Do things where they know it's going to hurt the little guy, where they're playing nice and saying, this is the reason why we want to do it. In reality, they know that buying those expensive barrels puts the squeeze on the small guys if the rules can go on how they want them. Doesn't there a lot of that kind of stuff that goes on out there in reality?
I don't know. I think there is, but I think it's more on the distributor side than the TTB side. I don't know. I think that it's plausible, but I'm not putting my chips on that as to why it's taking so long. I think it's more that just people suck at their jobs. And, sometimes it's easier to say no or not act than say yes and take a chance. I don't know. I think it will happen, actually. I do think this last push was like a necessary move from the American single malt whiskey group.
I think 2 years into it is fine to make that move. Yeah. I mean,
like, it's been play nice all along, and yes, please, whatever, we'll take what you'll give us. But now it's like, hey, guys, this is bullshit. So, come on, Biden, get it done.
There you go. Biden's going to make it happen. So there you go. I'm sure this is what he's concerned about. So there you go.
For sure.
All right. Well, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Steinkamp, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Investment Whiskey.
Darren.
You can find me on Instagram at the Bourbon Adventures.
Lenny.
You can find me and the rest of Deerhammer on social media at Deerhammer, on the web at deerhammer.com. And you can not find me in beautiful Buena Vista, Colorado this summer.
Right.
Back in the winter.
Yeah. And then when it gets to winter, then it's too cold. You gotta get out of there. Yeah. No, you're gone. You're gone.
Well,
you're in Phoenix and shit. I know where you're going to be at. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll wait and see. Audience, if I spot Lenny in Phoenix, Arizona at any point over the course of the winter.
Tucson.
Well, there you go. Tucson then. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, as they say in Canada. All right, Miss Beka Sue, how about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check that one out. Everything that we do is out there. Maybe you want to go back and hear the first Lenny interview. That's out there. It was a long time ago. He's getting ready for some festival. It's out there, man. Check it out. abvnetwork.com. Come by and see me, the ABV Barrel Shop. Darren and I hang out there quite a bit. Sometimes we're podcasting. Sometimes Steinkamp's there. You never know. Online, we are at abvbarrelshop.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye, y'all.
Guys.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you're in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.